What are we listening to today?
The Immigrant Project by Girish and Astha.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Immigrant Project. We have Prateek Singh as our guest again. This is the part two that we are recording with him. If you guys remember in the last episode, this guy spoke a lot about Barry and I think he did not spend any time talking about what he does. So today
Wow.
I think I really want to have a very productive conversation with this guy because I think he has promoted a lot of Bari tourism. So, so Prateek, let's spend some time talking about you finding a job in Canada because this is something that a lot of immigrants struggle with. So much so that we have heard stories of people coming here and then struggling to find job in their own industry, and they are taking up odd jobs,
Yeah.
becoming Tim Hortons ka barista, or I don't know, going to restaurants and finding a job. So how did you go about finding your job? And you are working in your industry at a job that you like.
Yeah.
So what was your approach like?
So like whatever I can say about kind of finding a job here kind of revolves around two things, and you'll notice like it comes down to two things every time. Like whatever I say will kind of always come back to these two things, and those two things is number one that you really need to manage your expectations, and number two, finding a job is about 60% luck, 60 to 70% luck, and 30 to 40% what you know. So
60% luck.
yeah, and like I'll come back to why I'm saying that, but like and honestly you can influence that, but yeah, like luck plays a very big factor in it.
You want to share some personal anecdotes?
Yeah, so basically, let's say okay, let's put it this way, right? Let's say you're looking for a job as a software engineer, right? There's a technology you need,
Yeah.
and you need to kind of know that technology, and like a job posting has that technology in it. And you think about it, you're like, all right, I have this technology, but like, and you like, I should be getting this job, but that's not necessarily how it works. So what happens is a lot of times somebody will see your resume and they'll think, oh, this guy's not worth it, this person's not worth it, and they'll just kind of discard your resume. But other times you'll see somebody will see your resume and they'll be like, oh, I really relate to what this person has written in their resume, and kind of just pick it up, right? So that's kind of where the luck aspect comes from. And the other thing is kind of like managing your expectations, right? So and I'll kind of explain why I'm saying this. So you let's say that what I've learned in the industry here is that in India, let's say you work on two projects, two very large projects,
Yeah.
right? And you put that in your resume, but you also work on smaller side projects, right?
Yeah.
Like every day, like maybe like for people who know what I'm talking about, like maybe you're just doing some analysis, or maybe you're
Yeah.
just building a dashboard. But your real project is like something like a full front end that you've developed and a full back end that you've developed, right? So you're going to put your two projects, but you're also going to put those smaller projects, right? What I've seen people do here is that they don't necessarily focus too much on the smaller project, but they elaborate a lot on the larger projects. And the way that they do that is that, let's say you have a technology mentioned in your job posting, right?
Yeah.
Like, so let's say for example, there's a technology called Kubernetes, right? So let's say that Kubernetes is mentioned in the job posting, and you write it in your resume that I have worked on Kubernetes.
Yeah.
No, that's not what they're looking for. What they're
Yeah.
looking for is that I was working on this project, I was faced with this problem, and only Kubernetes could solve that.
So problem and how you approach that problem.
Yeah, and
solution
how you
in your
use,
resume.
yes, exactly. So that's kind of where people are struggling a lot because we come from two very different resume building strategies.
Yeah.
We come from a strategy where they say just write whatever you have done. But that's not how it works here. You need to understand that all these people who are reading your resumes have seen probably every combination of word that you're going to think of. What they're looking for is a use case that relates to them, and that is where the luck aspects comes in.
Yeah.
You could be the absolute best at something. You could be from whatever university you could think of, and you would still not get hired because your resume was either not
If you're not able to present yourself
yes,
in a way.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's got nothing to do with you, right? Like you write, let's say you've written something very nicely and you believe that, okay, this is absolutely like an application based approach. This is a very good way to like solve the problem that I'm talking about, and this is something that they will also relate to. But maybe that day the hiring manager just doesn't want to look at your resume, right? And that's it. Then you won't get that job. But that's kind of what I'm talking about. Like you have to find that balance between luck, and you have to find that balance between managing your expectations to find somebody. For me, like I'll give you an example, right? Like from my experience, I graduated in December of 2022, and
From Georgian College.
yes, from Georgian College in Paris, and in December I got my first interview. All right, and I went, and they had 5 rounds, and I cleared all 5 rounds.
Wow.
And the last round, right before the HR round,
Yeah.
they
So the last round was the HR.
yeah,
not
sorry,
the
fifth round was the HR round, which
Okay.
right before that, I was told that like because I don't have this one particular skill set, I didn't get the job. So
You
this
win a technical skill set.
yeah, so now this is another thing that kind of like Indians, like Indian, at least Indian people in tech kind of struggle with. Let's say in India you're applying for a company, right? You are one out of 5 people who's applied to a software engineering role, and what's happening is that the person on the other side is looking at your resume and they say, okay, this person is a 90% match. This person and these 4 people are, let's say, 70% match.
Yeah.
So we're just going to take the person who's a 90% match.
Yeah.
That's not what happens here.
Oh.
What will happen here is if you're a 90% match and
Yeah.
somebody else, and like 6 other people or 5 other people are 70% matches, they'll take nobody.
Oh, why? Why is that?
Because they want somebody who has 100% match to what they're looking for.
Wow.
So
it's that level of filtration.
yeah, yes. Because I think that the thing, it also has a lot to do with like inflation in the sense that the cost of money has gone up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're not able to necessarily give away a lot of money for free, and that's why people are looking for exactly what they need. So like the company that I'm talking about, like they taught me this, and it was a very bitter pill to swallow, right? Because I was going strong. Like they like I got very good reviews from them. I got very good feedback from them. But they just said that because I didn't know how to do this one thing.
Yeah.
Which is something that I do like every day now.
Wow.
So like I didn't know how to do this one thing, that they couldn't hire me. So in that sense, it's very hard, right? Like that's kind of what I mean. And then in contrast, when I'm working right now, I was lucky in the sense that I was able to talk to the right people at the right time.
Yeah.
Right? Like I was able to talk to the people who actually liked what I had to say, who actually believed in what I was saying. My manager, he gave me an opportunity. Like he asked me questions. Like it was a very clear job description. I had a very good match with it. So that's what I mean when I say that like it was a luck based thing, because like they reached out to me. Right, and they said that like your profile seems like a good match for this role. Like, so would you like to apply for this?
And this happens very rarely.
But then that's what I'm saying. It's not because I'm good at it.
Yeah.
It's not because I am the only person who can do it.
Yeah.
I am good at it, but it's not because of that. It's because somebody was looking for a role, looking for an employee, and they found my profile on LinkedIn, right? So
luck, maybe.
Yeah, so luck is a very huge like aspect of this. It's a very, very huge aspect.
So I did not want to break your train of thought, but keeping luck aside, because luck is not in our control. Skill is something that is in our control. How do you think one should go about building a resume? Now, the reason I ask you this question is, back in India, they used to tell us that your resume, especially in my industry, PR and marketing, they used to tell us your resume should not be more than 1 or 2 pages. Try to condense everything in 1 page itself, if you can. And now you are saying that try to have like a problem and a solution to that problem in your resume. Would you say that perhaps in tech industry, the approach of building a resume should be slightly different?
No, I think that like the approach should be the same everywhere. I think that you should have you should have a problem-based approach.
Okay.
Like you should be able to present a problem and a solution to that problem so that people can see that you can solve that problem at a daily basis. Because what's happening is that you are facing those problems every day. It's not the market anymore where they are interviewing you for something and then something else is happening.
Yeah.
So I mean, this could be like a subjective opinion because it is something that I've heard from other people is still happening where they're getting like very hard interviews and the job has nothing to do with it. But at least like the interviews I gave, they were very directly related to what they were asking me for. So like I think that like as far as resume building is concerned, it has to be a very like problem solving approach. You need to understand that you are probably not going to be 100% match for every job.
Yeah.
Right?
You must still keep trying.
But you still have to keep trying and just don't give up. Like that's the best I can say. And you said that like luck is not something that's in our control, which is not true. I'll tell you why. So you can't change how lucky or how unlucky you are, but you can influence it in certain ways. Like you have resources like LinkedIn, right? Or and your resources like Udemy and Coursera and stuff like that. So, what you can always try to do is you can try to get certifications and like badges and stuff in those techniques or those technologies, because what's going to happen is, even if you already wrote very well, because what's going to happen is that you're going to post it on your LinkedIn and the algorithm is going to possibly put it out there, and like sometimes when somebody's actually looking for something related to that, they'll just pick it up, right? So that's how you can influence your luck.
Try to stand out from the crowd. Try to upskill yourself.
Yes, exactly. So like that's I'm sure like a lot of people have heard this, that like finding a job is like a full-time job.
Yes, so true.
Right? Like you don't get paid for it, but it is a full-time job. Like you can't spend 12 hours or like, so it's like how you do anything in a 9-hour day, right? Like you spend a certain amount of time working on something, a certain amount of time working on something. So similarly, that's how you should approach looking for a job. Like spend some time in the morning applying for jobs, spend some time in the evening applying for jobs. But apart from that, upskill yourself. Reach out to people on LinkedIn. I must have network, and like that's so hard, man. Like honestly, that's something
appreciated.
That's something that like I never wanted to do, but I do a lot now. But I have to do. But yeah, it's and see, it's one of those things that believe me, nobody likes to do it, right? The person in front of you is not there to say, hey, I'm going to go and network today. That's not going to happen. It's like they're also doing it because it's expected of them.
It's the need of the hour. I think let's take a 5-minute break because there's a lot of conversation I want to have with you.
Yeah.
A few moments later.
Welcome back, Prateek. That was a much needed coffee break. So I want to backtrack the conversation. You said something about resume and you said something about problem and solution. So in my industry, what happens is, what I have been told by my seniors is, you need to create a very short and a brief resume. So it should not be more than 1.5 page. So what do you think is the norm in your industry, and how did you go about building your resume?
See, I think that like resumes are something that is a very like subjective subject, if that makes sense.
Subjective topic?
Yeah, subjective topic in the sense that you like it works. Some people have 1-page resumes and that works. Some companies expect larger resumes and that works. I've given 1-page resumes. I've also done written resumes, which are a nightmare. But like you basically like write your entire experience. You have to write paragraphs and an essay and all that. But the fact of the matter is that you should have it to be like a page or 2 pages max. In my experience and in my field. Yeah. And you should try to make sure that, again, like a problem solving approach. Like say that this technology, you want this technology to kind of, a company is looking for this technology, you use this technology to solve this problem.
And then list down your skills and expertise somewhere across the resume.
And like, I mean, it's not like you shouldn't talk about your smaller projects. You should talk about your smaller projects, but it's really those meaty 6-month, 7-month projects that they're more interested in. They don't necessarily care too much about the smaller projects that you did. So like to kind of like answer your question in brief, like it's more about you just doing 1 to 2 pages is probably the right way to go. And and honestly, like if you're confused about it, like take help from someone, man. Like like there are a lot of people who are professional resume writers.
Yeah.
Speak to them,
Pay
them.
worth-
Yeah, it's
worth
fine.
the
Yeah, it's
effort, I
fine.
guess.
Like at least if nothing else, you know what's gonna happen. At least you will not be you won't have that doubt in your mind, right? That like I didn't go down that route and that might help me. I'm not saying that it'll solve everything.
Yeah, but it's again, it'll aid you.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll stand out,
Yeah,
and that's what we are
exactly,
talking
yeah,
about. You need
yeah.
to stand out from the
Yeah.
crowds. Okay, so last year, 2023 January, you are looking for jobs, and then you go through this process of 5 rounds of interview, and in the last round they tell you that because of XYZ thing, we will not be able to select you.
Yeah.
So, how does that eye of the tiger moment in Prateek's head ring, and he goes down the road where he wants to find a job in the next couple of months, and he does find a job. So how does Prateek pick himself up and puts himself in the job that he's currently at, and he's happy?
So honestly, like, see, I'll be honest, and I'm not trying to kind of show off here, but like before that interview, I had never been rejected from an interview ever. So so this entire notion of searching for jobs was very foreign to me. And then I came here and I fell flat on my face, and basically,
Reality check.
yeah, and it was like a reality check. And basically, I did the best way to describe this is that first of all, the first thing I did was whatever they said that I didn't know how to do, I did that 100 times. Like without joke, I did that almost 100 times.
Wow.
I posted about it everywhere on LinkedIn. I did this.
So you did courses.
Yeah, I did
upskill
courses.
yourself.
I did courses, personal projects. I tried to join hackathons and stuff like that, but I never really, with work and everything, I never could get into it. So the startup I joined, I kind of got introduced to them through somebody, and they were looking for an ML engineer, and they wanted some work done, and basically I was like, okay, let me kind of take this on, it'll help me kind of stay on top of my work, and at the same time I can continue to kind of look for a job.
Of course, earn some cash.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Because that's a pretty important aspect.
Yes,
of
that is, I mean, let's not take that away from anything. Like that is very, very important, right? And so I basically I threw myself into that. I started to think objectively of why I'm not getting selected, and I started focusing exactly on that. And what really, really helped me was that I would try to solve problems with the reasons for which I got rejected.
Yes.
So thankfully I was working for a company, not necessarily a company, but like a startup at that time. So I was doing a lot of the same things that was being asked of me in interviews. So I was able to kind of like if somebody told me, oh, you don't know this, I was able to kind of research that and kind of apply it almost immediately. So that helped in building my resume very, very fast.
So you fill the gaps that were there in your resume, and
exactly. So you basically you take what people give you, you take that criticism and you use it for yourself, and that's very hard to do when you come from a very protected environment.
Yeah.
When you come from an environment where you have placements, right? Like India has placements.
Yeah, you have never been rejected.
Yeah.
Wow, that's something.
Yeah. So, but that's basically the best way to kind of.
So you found a job in this tech startup within a couple of months, or
No, so
immediately?
Immediately, like
Oh, wow.
it wasn't but again, like I said, it wasn't I wasn't getting paid that much. It was kind of like we were still just taking off. Like the entire data science division wasn't even ready. We were maybe like 10 people across 2-3 countries, you know. So
yeah, there's an opportunity to learn, of course.
Yeah,
exactly. So from there, how did you go about working in one of the largest, or for one of the largest banks in the country?
So that's basically me kind of being very aggressive with LinkedIn. Like that's basically it.
Okay.
I was very,
what was your approach like?
Like I would apply every day. I would post at least an article every week. I would
You would write an article every
like not I don't even need to write an article. Like you can read an article on Medium, or you can read an article somewhere and like post it on your LinkedIn and talk about it.
Like summarize an article,
Yeah, exactly.
share your perspective about that article, and share a link.
Exactly. In my field, you have something known as Jupyter Notebooks, which is basically you can write a full, you can make a small project and post it very fast.
Okay.
So I did a lot of that, right? I did a lot of courses. A lot of courses at the end required to do projects, so I started adding those projects to my resume. I started posting those projects on LinkedIn. It's very daunting in the beginning because you're putting your work out there to be kind of criticized by other people.
Yeah.
So it's a process in itself, but you need to kind of like get through it. You need to kind of accept that this is the only way to do it.
Yeah. Hey, see, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah,
you have to start somewhere.
Yeah, and I think one of the most toxic things I did was that I kept asking myself that if I actually want a job, then why am I not giving more time to it? Which I will suggest nobody does.
So self-criticism?
Self-criticism and also like pushing yourself, like just consistently pushing yourself, like okay, I have to finish this course before I sleep, stuff like that. And it's a double-edged sword, right? Like, okay, I learned a lot, but also like, it took me a very long time to get out of that mindset, right? To be able to say that, okay, it's not such a big deal anymore. Relax. Let's take a step back. Let's try to focus on your life rather than just focusing on making money or getting a job. And like, it's a lot of things, man. Like you want to make things happen fast, but it just doesn't happen. So, I think that the one thing that I always tell everybody is that like just give it patience, take some time, and somebody once told me when I was kind of down in the dumps and I was like, I'm not getting a job, and I asked this one person who is ironically from PR and marketing. She asked, so I said, I'm not able to find a job, and she's like, have you applied, how many rejections have you gotten?
Yeah.
So I said, I don't know, maybe like 400, 500. She's like, I have 900 plus rejections. And then she had gotten a job after that. And so I think that is a good threshold. I think that 900 rejections.
That's what I keep saying. 999 rejections.
Yeah.
After that you'll hit. So yeah, we are at the end of the conversation. I think we have had such an incredible, insightful conversation. Just before we end this episode, we ask one question, last question to all of our guests is what next for them. So it can be 1 month from now, it can be 5 years from now. So what do you think is next for Prateek Singh?
Well, I'm actually hoping to get some ramen right now. But next for me is, I think that I'm looking to kind of go deeper in my field. Like I'm trying to go into research. Like now that I've kind of gotten onto this path of doing something that I love, I want to get deeper into it. And I think that I just want to kind of live a life where I don't necessarily have to continuously think about what I'm going to do next, ironically. Like what I want to do next is that.
That is like focus on your next step.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. Like I want to be able to live in the moment. So many times I realized when I was working towards something, I was like, damn it, man. Like I was hoping for this. I was hoping for this like a year back, and now I have it. And why can't I be happy
just
about
enjoy
it?
what
Yeah,
you have,
exactly.
right?
Yeah. And I want to retire my parents. Like that's basically my major goal now. Yeah.
You're
That's
very
it.
kind-hearted. So you
No,
know
I'm
that.
not.
Yeah, the outer shell is a very thick-skinned
No.
boy, but
No.
inside you're a cute little.
Oh God,
Like a
no.
teddy bear.
No, absolutely.
Well, Prateek, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much for giving us the time to record 2 episodes
No problem.
in one day. And I am sure listeners would have had a very insightful 20-30 minutes, whatever it was. So thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.